Hello, and be welcome to the world of darkness. Long ago was it that the sin of Cain spawned the cursed horror that stalks the street at night in search of living blood. The kindred have long been a secret influence through all ages of human history, plotting against one another in a never-ending jihad. Their immortal progeny are among us to this day, hidden from the eyes of humanity by an elaborate masquerade.
To set the scene, as you awaken your haven to the loud sounds of clatter, you can feel the disturbed slither of one of your snakes which writhes from on top of you, crossing over your belly and chest, coiling itself about your head as it flicks its tongue at the window shutters, which on the other side of, you can hear the cacophonous sound of mortals screaming, shouting, the occasional blow of whistles from police officers, no doubt Scotland Yard's finest out there. Madness seems to have not only consumed you by the blood, but consumed the very air around you as you wait.
Well, which snake is it? Is it the rattlesnake, is it the cobra, or is it the garden snake?
Oh, it's the cobra.
Oh boy. Where's the cobra on me?
As I said, it has somewhat wrapped its midsection around over your neck, the top of it perched above your head, almost in a very Egyptianite fashion, whereas its lower tail is still slithering up your body between your breasts.
Considering the cobra is out of the box, it's not gonna go too well. But time to enact the plan. Because I'm assuming, just a little bit of assumption here, that since my cobra is out of its cage, that means that there's somebody in my house. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to I'm going to stay still in the bed, and then immediately after I find a lull in the situation, I'm going to grab I'm going to reach up really fast and grab the cobra by its head and lift the head up so it can't bite me.
Go ahead and roll your dex and athletics. As you thrust up your hand for the serpent, you just narrowly manage to catch it about the throat, though it very quickly wriggles free, sliding out of your hand, and then down over your head and chest, slithering down to the end of the bed.
I will sit up, arms behind my back, looking around, scanning the room, listening to the sounds outside, then flicking my attention back to the cobra.
You notice as you look about your room that papers are scattered, books are tossed haphazardly, the curtains are fallen onto the floor. It looks like a whirlwind has run through your room, though you remain undisturbed. You can see the garden snake slithering underneath your bed. No sign of the third, suggesting all three are probably loose. And what's more concerning is your man, your retainer, your butler, your confidant of many years, is unconscious beneath the window.
Oh boy. Well. With that all said and done, Oh, God. What do I do? What do I do? Ooh, I could grab the cobra. I could definitely do that. Yeah, that's probably the most dangerous one right now. Sitting up, I will drag my legs up closer to me, so it's a nice cross-legged, in a nice cross-legged fashion. As I slowly but surely slide out of bed, I will be making my way to the snake. The big ol' scary cobra snake.
No sooner do you turn to step out of the bed and your feet reaching the cold boards of the floor, the snake slithering off the edge of the foot of the bed to the floor below, pooling in a large circle. You can hear it hiss angrily, as though it is aware before happening, as you watch the bed behind you lift, levitating in the air, before dropping itself onto the ground. The shutters clattering on their own volition against the windows, as outside the noises of the shouting crowd and mobs, the flicker of firelight beyond the windows is intermediary, getting louder and softer with the clattering and opening and close of the shutters. As you see now, moving upward through the boards of the floor, a sight of which does not excite you. Within his astral form, flowing robes, long white hair, and a horrid beard completing the image of the ghostly, translucent figure, is your sire.
Oh, so I haven't been broken into yet.
There is no protections that could keep me out. You should know this by now, Elizabeth. You have been very neglectful in your obligations to me.
What are you talking about? I've been doing everything I can.
I have received no secrets from this order of yours, or of the Golden Dawn. I have been forced to do all as my own. If not for my incredible skill, I might be testy. So you make me contemplate what need I have of you, child. I have tolerated your unruliness for quite some time.
Oh, that. Right. Here's the thing. I've been a little busy dealing with...
His voice projects outward. I have no patience for your excuses. You serve the greatest wizard that has ever lived, and yet you folly in such a way.
Well, considering the Setites are back on the prowl, I suppose it is somewhat necessary.
What danger do these snakes pose? They are dust beneath my fingertips. I care not for their activity.
It's more so danger to every kindred in the East End.
I am unconcerned with any of them. Very few have any substance or worth to their person. There are only a select number of kindred in this entirety of the British Isles with whom I concern myself as potential protégés. You are squandering the opportunity I have given you.
Well, what if I told you that in my expedition searching for any Setite remnants, I managed to join the Freemasons?
The Freemason. Ritualized tomfoolery. They care not for the occult, they care for secular powers. Their rituals, their secret orders, none of it is based in arcana. He pauses suddenly, thrusting out his hand. You move as though made of feathers into his grasp, which is impressive as he is in fact in an astral form, yet feels as though he is in fact holding you suspended in the air by his hand. You have bound yourself to another.
It was a reasonable decision, considering the circumstances of what I might stand to gain.
He releases you. Your feet striking the floor, you stagger for a moment. You hear the snake hiss loudly as it slithers between your legs, scurrying away at the sudden reappearance of you in its line of sight. You have 2 nights to prove your words, or I will come collect you, so that you may no longer dawdle beyond the walls of the Sanctum Sanctorum and assume the proper mantle of my apprentice.
If you insist.
You treat it as though it is such a burden to serve so great a magus as I. Do not think that your petty plays with these Tremere or even the Setites will keep you from me should I come for you. I will dash them aside like wind on wheat. To illustrate his point, he flicks his finger, sending your bed, frame and all, sliding across the ground, grinding on the wood, scuffing it violently before it lifts, smashing through the windows. Outside, you can hear the startled screams of several people as it goes crashing into their midst. By the time you look back, you can see him levitating upwards and backwards until he parts from the walls. You have 2 nights. The garden snake, which was hidden under your bed, has now coiled around your right ankle. It seems to be using you as shelter.
Oh, my babies. Very well. It shall be done. I'll get you information from not only the Freemasons, but also the Golden Dawn and the Weeping Moon. And whatever else I manage to find.
Now, without your shutters, or in fact the entirety of your window, you can see plainly outside that the sound of the commotion is that of a large-scale riot occupying the streets of Whitechapel. Mobs with torches and many an improvised weapon moving through the streets, calling out for Jews or the Ripper. They'll put an end to him if Scotland Yard are such milksops. You have a feeling this evening is going to prove to be anything but useful or productive.
Alright. Well, as Mr. Mellon, the Mellon, does in fact leave, I will be immediately going over to Nathaniel and picking him up, or at least trying to pick him up. Whoops.
As you clasp onto your man, you heave immediately to feel your arms go straight and tug at his clothing rather rudely, though he doesn't budge so much as an inch.
All right. Well, Next order of business, I'm going to open up one of his eyes. And I'm going to look into it. How fucked is he? How fucked up is he?
As you open his eye to look at it, it's a bit bloodshot. But he seems to be... Well, they're not glazed over, so that's progress.
I'm going to look into his eye and say, "Wake up."
Manipulation and intimidation. Be it that he's not conscious, or be it that in his unconscious state his mind is strangely barred to you, you are unable to feel the give of his will beneath the exertion of your own. And thus he remains, well, on the floor. So as you hold his eye, he does blink. And he starts blinking more. His eye red and itchy from having been exposed to the air for a few moments. He begins to sit up of his own accord.
Oh, thank heavens you're not dead.
My sincerest apologies, my lady. He looks up to the window and immediately staggers back, his back striking the wall as he examines the damage, as well as the snake on the floor. Is all well? Did they break in? There was a riot outside in the streets.
First, I thought they broke in. However, it turns out it just was my recusant sire.
I had initially come to sit by your bedside, my lady, in an effort to ensure that any intruders that potentially made it in would not disturb you before the fall of the sun.
Oh, Nathaniel, you are such a good friend. This is going to be a bit of a weird question, but my father wouldn't happen to have anything on the Golden Dawn or Weeping Moon, would he?
Not to my knowledge, my lady.
What about the Freemasons?
He was interested, but could never be admitted into their ranks.
Of course. Must do everything myself. As my father was such a wonderfully useless fool. Oh. Alright. I'd say prepare the carriage, but I don't think we're going to be getting around that crowd. She says, leaning over and looking out the shattered window.
Not to mention the numerous people carrying burning torches. Doesn't endear you to the idea of walking in their crowd.
They've been screaming about hunting for Jews, correct?
Jews, the Ripper. Again, going off of the assumption that the Ripper is in fact a Jew.
Nathaniel, you don't look Jewish, do you?
Of course not, my lady. I am a good Anglican.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Get yourself prepared in some decent garb. Not too decent, no. We don't want to stir the crowd, and I will dress like a common wastrel, and together we can march off for the Golden Dawn's place of residence.
what of your rendezvous with the Lady Rebecca?
Oh, yes, that would be a good idea. I think we should meet her as well. But before we go to the Golden Dawn's place, perhaps she can help gather some extra information. I'm sure she will be happy to know that somehow my sire managed to find out about what we were doing.
He is an intrusive presence upon your life, lady. If it were possible, I would attempt to stop it. Sadly, I am powerless before him.
If you keep up all the good work that you've been doing, you might not be powerless for much longer.
She'll give him a nice pat on the shoulder.
You see, he grimaces at that. I think it for the best, my lady, that not come to pass.
Are you sure?
You're already a mortal, I mean.
Pausing, he looks outside of the window at the angry, violent horde of mortals. I cannot deny that I have never considered it, Lady Grey. However, I have lived my life. I have loved and known love. I am an old man. There is nothing else for me. And in truth, I don't believe that I could enjoy an eternity without some end. I will serve you faithfully for as long as you will have. But I am unbefit of the gift you offer. My sincere apologies.
Oh, don't talk such rot. You're more than fit. You've been by my side for 46 years, I believe it's been. Not including the time before I went off to Germany. You've done everything I've asked and more. You've made sure everything has gone to plan, and when things have not gone to plan, you found a way to improvise or work around it. You are
In a surprising show of force, he puts a hand out towards you. My Lady Grey, I implore you respect me in this, as I have always respected you and your family. I have and will serve loyally, always. But I have no wish to live forever, and I have no wish to delay, though I will not rush towards it, my inevitable end, where I might rejoin many of those friends I've lost. I am not fit for eternity, for even with the limited time I have had, I have made the best of it, and am content with the life and regrets I have. He then looks down, ashamed of having spoken up against you.
She'll place both her hands on his shoulders, give one of them a pat with her left hand.
very well. It's a shame. But I will respect your wishes. Though I do hope to be able to change your mind at some point.
He shakes his head. You shall not, my lady. But I trust you will find a more suitable companion.
Well, with that being said, I suppose we should probably wrangle the snakes.
Leave it to me, my lady. I have become fairly well acquainted with the scaly children you keep in my time feeding them. You prepare yourself to meet with your rendezvous. I will wrangle the serpents. At least one of them seems to have behaved.
Thank you.
she'll say as she stands up, goes to her wardrobe and starts digging through it for the cheapest dress she has in there. Eventually finding it, she'll pull it out, gather her cheapest pair of shoes, cheapest hat and veil, and go to another room to change. She's gonna rough up her hair a little bit, be a lot less careful than usual when putting on the dress, but it's still going to very pristinely place the hat and veil on her head, very ever so slightly off kilter, to create a bit of a more dynamic look. Oh, and of course she brought the cane with her, because that cane does not leave her side. It's going to make her stand out a little bit, but she can't bring herself to part with it. Just like her snakes, that's her baby. She'll just have to hide it. Slightly. Being all dressed up, I'm going to go downstairs and wait for Nathaniel, making sure that I close every single curtain in the house. And also make sure all the doors and windows are locked. Probably not going to stop a brick, but hopefully it'll deter the less ready to wreak havoc.
As you finish preparing yourself, not quite the usual fare that you would embellish yourself with, you nevertheless rejoin your ghoul. You see that he has collected a revolver. 6 shots, nothing special. Though putting it in a holster under his jacket, he buttons it up only about to the mid-chest so he can still access it readily, standing at the door waiting for you. His clothes similarly, old jacket, pants, a flat cap on his head that has a couple of patches in it. He looks much more of the lower crowd than typical, with much reason for it, no doubt.
Should I roll courage, considering I have a phobia of guns?
Yes.
Oh, God.
Though you brace yourself in a sudden stiffening of your limbs at its sight, you are reassured both that this is in fact your ghoul, your man, and someone who has been with you, as you yourself illustrated, for many, many years. You put a great deal of confidence in him. Thus, that weapon, despite your displeasure, is not one you need think of too harshly, too long. Though it does sit in the back of your mind that it is there. You see Nathaniel looking at you as he pauses. Should we go out the back, my lady?
I think that would be for the best.
He nods, stopping to look at the front door once more before taking one of the chairs and pressing it up against the door, just in the event of somebody trying to break in. He then moves to join you for the back door.
Alright, with that, I will turn the knob on the door and push it open. Take a look out the right, and then move up to the door a little bit, peek around it, and look to the left. I'm gonna want to stay in the back alleys, but not too many of the back alleys to get jumped by some people, though I have no doubts that I could probably ruin their day. Yeah, you know. And on the way to what's the name of the inn? The something Bull?
The Bull's Inn.
The Bull's Inn, okay. On the way to the Bull's Inn, I think I'm gonna try and grab a snack.
Are you trying to move stealthily through the alleys or just quickly?
Well, considering I am a woman, and neither Nathaniel nor I look Jewish, I don't think I need to obfuscate or be very stealthy about it. And considering I'm staying close to the main road, but also, like, somewhere in the alleys, like, basically one road over from the main road is what I'm going for here.
Sadly, the Bull's Inn is on the main road.
And, yeah, but, like, on the way there, I'm gonna be, you know, dodging in between. But when, you know, I'll be ducking into the bull's inn after that.
Fair enough. Go ahead and... there's no need to roll, considering you're not really hiding yourself or anything of the sort. You press through the alley, walking quickly enough to make good time, yet not at quite a jog or anything even of the sort. Nathaniel moves behind you, his hand occasionally moving up to his breast, where he lingers with his fingers for the revolver anytime a crowd seems to get particularly loud or violent. You can hear the blow of more police whistles, a break of glass somewhere, dogs barking violently. It's an unpleasant sight, to say the least. And the sky is completely clear, but you ought to imagine on most nights is a wonderful thing. The brightness and vibrancy of the moon and stars, yet now you see it somewhat clogged by smoke of the burning torches, possibly even a building somewhere.
Oh, God.
And there is this orange haze that clings to the edges of the sky over the tops of each of the houses. You manage to make about a block's distance when you see a group of men, about 5 in number, moving into the alley about 10 feet ahead of you. 2 of them bear torches standing on either side. One holding a scatter gun, out of character, effectively an old-timey shotgun. And 2 others holding makeshift weapons, what looks like a sturdy club with a metallic ball on the top. And the other one, just a plain board of wood. Roll your courage, because you don't like guns! Especially shotguns!
So many guns! I will be wincing up to Nathaniel, holding his arm like a child, closing my eyes and making sure he's guiding me. Also, hopefully it'll deter anyone from thinking that on the off chance he might be the Ripper.
Crossing over his chest with his left hand, he pats your arm before putting the other hand around you to guide you forward towards the men. As you get closer to them, all 5 seem at once to focus on you. The one with the shotgun hefting it onto his shoulder, the 2 men with torches holding out their flames to better see you in the dark dimness of the alley. You can hear rats scurry by the dozen away from the light and away from you as they move past you down deeper into the alleys behind you. The other men watch, save for the one with the makeshift club of whatever description, who continues to bang on doors and fences, seeing if he can scare anyone out. Sadly, you're going to have to roll self-control, because the beast also doesn't like fire. And you're getting really close to 2 fires.
Fuck!
Don't worry, Alden is also in Whitechapel.
Alden! Hey, bud! Okay.
You retain your self-control as the beast inside of you leers at the flames, wanting either to snuff them out or snuff out the holders, or better yet, just leave their presence entirely. The man with the shotgun, who doesn't appear to be exactly angry or violent, holds up his free hand. Boy, right there. Where are you 2 going? Nathaniel looks to you, looking for permission to speak.
She'll give a nod. Still closing her eyes, still fearful.
The men seem to take note of this. In fact, one of them actually, seeing your reaction and your demeanor, actually moves his torch a little further away from you, which you're kind of grateful for. Nathaniel speaks up. We're just trying to move through to the main street. We're going to see a doctor there. She needs her iron tablets. The man holding the shotgun nods. And you haven't seen any of the damn Jews, have you? We're rooting out this Ripper fellow now before he does any more harm. No, not at all. You wouldn't be lying now, would you? Sir, this is none of my concern. My concern is right here in my arms, and if that Ripper bastard wants to put harm to it, I'll shoot him myself. The man seems to take a step forward as Nathaniel stares him down. Leave us be, sir. Going straight back, the man holding the shotgun just throws a hand up. Hey, get on with your business and get out of here. And if you find that bastard Hollow. With that, he moves away, looking off to the next bunch of houses, even tapping the butt of his shotgun against one of the doors. The men with the torches walk away. The one who has seemed to notice your somewhat intimidated demeanor, even giving you a polite nod of his head before fucking off.
Ah, the beauty of being a woman in Whitechapel during Jack the Ripper.
I mean, yeah, there's only 3 ways it could go. Getting killed, getting fucked, or getting sympathy.
Exactly. And ain't no Ripper killing me. At least I hope.
Nevertheless, Nathaniel guides you past the men. Once again, roll your self-control, both due to the presence of the torches, the moment of which you're crossing from alley to alley. There's a hell of a crowd. A lot of angry people, a lot of torches, and there's still a fucker with a shotgun really near to you. As you stand in the middle of a narrow road, the torches of the people around you, they're shouting, clamoring, stirring up not only your volatile state, but the bobbing of flames constantly near. You are fully aware that your clothes are very flammable, and the beast cannot be in this presence any longer. Finally, the bastard with the shotgun blasts a shot off into the air. With a violent hiss, you shove away Nathaniel and dart into the alley ahead, rushing as quickly as you can proceed. You tear through in a violent panic, desperate to escape the flames. Yet now you seem to be hyper-aware of them. The glow of the flames on the other sides of the building, peeking them through the alleys, the shouting of anger. It's all around you, consuming. You run. Go ahead and roll your willpower really quickly. As a man in one of the alleys is moving through, a lantern in one hand, pistol in the other, your immediate reaction is to run away, to move out away from both flame and weapon. And yet another part of you desires to attack him, to snuff out the threat. In that split moment of hesitancy, you have just enough purchase over the beast that you can attempt to direct its action to flight or fight. If you want to direct the beast not to kill the fucker, that is a temporary willpower.
Oh, fuck. How alone is he?
Completely.
Completely alone? Is there a chance that somebody else is going to come flying around the corner?
Considering what's going on in Whitechapel? Do I need to answer that?
Yup. Oh. Yup. Spending that temporary willpower. Let's go.
No sooner does the man turn to see you, does he see just you rush past him. He steps back, startled. Oh, you crazy bird! You're gone before he has so much time as to flash the light on your backside. As you move across one street into yet another alley, roll your willpower.
Son of a bitch. Well, it's been nice knowing you, folks.
As you are moving through the alleys, in a blind panic attempting to escape the flames, you manage to momentarily gain purchase. The beast confused by where to run as you find yourself staring at a brick wall of one of the continuous mounds of identical housing. The flames of the crowd on either side, the angry shouts, the banging, clattering, and shattering of glass. You see, in watching, head slumped, hands at his side, staring at the crowd vacantly without reaction. Though you can't quite make out his face, you identify him immediately.
Oh, it's been nice knowing you. Can I try and roll self-control to not do whatever the fuck I'm about to do?
You may.
Okay.
Grappling with the beast, you cease your attempted blind flight into the crowd away from this monster. This ancient, which is more dangerous than any torch flame. So much so that you actually managed to regain autonomy over your body. The beast howling still in your mind. A momentary fog in your thoughts. You realize you need to hide. He cannot see you. From the rumors of what's going on, he is not in the best of moods of late. The last thing you need to be is something he takes it out on.
I'm gonna move up against the wall and obfuscate.
It's a wise thing you do. For looking back towards where you were, he seems to pause, his eyes very vacantly examining the surroundings. He then walks off into the crowd. It almost as though both completely aware and unaware that they do it, the crowd parts around him, like Moses parting the Red Sea, and before closing back behind him as he vanishes. No idea where Nathaniel is or if he's been able to keep up with you. You see that you're not actually very far away from the Bull's Inn, though you did overshoot it a bit. End scene.